they were finally able to create a community in New South Wales.
In 1882, Rocco Caminati and Antonio Pezzuti went scouting on the north coast of New South Wales, near the modern-day town of Woodburn. They selected a plot of land, which would become the site of the New Italy settlement. By this time, most of the Italians' assimilation contracts had expired, and they were free to live on their own. Within a year, more than 20 families from the original expedition were living on the land. The Italians built a thriving community of their own, but today, no one lives at the old settlement. Instead, it has been transformed into a roadside stop with a cafe, museum, and park. The attraction celebrates Italian culture and tells the story of the founders' struggle to find a place of their own in the South Pacific.
Once in Australia, they faced discrimination and were forced to assimilate with Australian families.
Of the 340 that left Army India in July of 1880, 217 made it to Sydney in 1881. Once the survivors made it to Australia, they believed their nightmare journey might finally be over. They appealed to the government of New South Wales, asking if they could purchase land to form a colony together. They had all of the necessary people to start an independent community of their own and just wanted to get the new start they had been promised. The government denied their request and split the families up across the colony to assimilate in Australian homes. They were contracted out to English-speaking families and employers for between 6 months and 1 year. Children as young as 10 or 11 were separated from their families so they could work.
Instead of Australia, the captain sailed them to a French penal colony.
The Italian colonists forced the captain of the India to set sail for Sydney. Unfortunately, the India was not as seaworthy as she had once been. The boat wasn't capable of the trip, and they were forced to stop in New Caledonia when the ship began to experience mechanical problems. At that time, New Caledonia was a French penal colony.
The dense jungle hid dangers for the settlers, including malaria and unfriendly indigenous tribes.
The Italian colonists were expecting a land that had already been cleared and houses that had been built. That was what they had paid 1,800 francs for. What they got instead was a dense jungle, and they faced the daunting task of both clearing it and surviving in it. Many of the immigrants didn't. Between the inadequate food supply, the malaria-bearing mosquitoes, and the hostile indigenous tribes, dozens died within the first few months of their arrival in New Guinea.
They had been lied to. There was no established colony.
The India, carrying more than 300 hopeful Italian immigrants, arrived in Port Breton, New Guinea, in October of 1880. Excitement soon turned to horror. They discovered that the 2 previous expeditions to New France had failed, and there were none of the wide roads, public buildings, and nice houses that they had been promised. The bustling port city that they had heard tales of was nothing but a lie.
The journey to their new home was hellish, and some didn't survive.
The journey to their new home was hellish, and some didn't survive.
The trip to New France was expensive, but families believed it was worth it.
The trip to New France was expensive, but families believed it was worth it.
Struggling Italians were sold the dream of an idyllic life in the South Pacific.
Struggling Italians were sold the dream of an idyllic life in the South Pacific.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.